a lot of people in Canada are liking becoming our beautiful, cherished 51st state. They'll have to pay much lower taxes. They'll have the ultimate security. You know, they don't pay very much for security right now because they rely on us, which is really unfair to us. They make cars that we could make, and they send them back into the United States. They make a lot of things, including the sending of oil and everything. We don't need their oil.
The tariff war between Canada and the U.S. the opening salvo to Canada's annexation by the United States.
President Trump wants to attract more of the investments to his own country, going against the very trade agreement that has bound us for many, many years. So my point is this: we need to make sure that we are able to bring back certainty. But while doing that, and of course, being in charge of the Canadian diplomacy, I'll be working on off-ramps. We'll find a way to get through this, but we are standing strong in Canada. Because, Christian, what's important for viewers to understand right now is the Trump administration has not only put trade as an issue on the table, they've been presenting many other things, including military cooperation, security and intelligence cooperation, water cooperation, and I could go on and on and on. And that's enough. Canadians have had enough. We're a strong country. We will defend our sovereignty. We'll defend our jobs. We'll defend our way of living. And we will make sure that at the same time, the very targets of this trade war, the American people are very much aware and are putting pressure on the president that is doing all of that to them and to us.
So that was pretty straightforward what you just did. That's enough. Prime Minister Trudeau has also said the same, and he's responded, and he says in the next few weeks, I believe, tariffs on $100 billion of American goods coming in, and you've said it's an existential threat to you. Just a quick question. The Trump administration, the president says, too much fentanyl, too many migrants coming across the border.
Well, that's not true, because fundamentally, less than 1% of fentanyl actually comes from Canada to the U.S. We know that there's a scourge of fentanyl in North America. We know that too many Canadians and American lives are being taken by this catastrophic drug. But fundamentally, we have a very strong and secure border. We have $1.3 billion worth of investment in our new border plan. We've invested in more boots on the ground, Black Hawk helicopters, a new fentanyl strike force with the Americans. We also have a new fentanyl czar. We've done everything that was required under the executive order that President Trump signed to legitimize, to give him the powers to impose these tariffs. But clearly, this is not the issue right now. This is a pretext. This is not the right argument, because fundamentally, the U.S. is a net exporter of illegal migrants, of illegal guns, and illegal drugs to Canada. So what is at stake is more than that. President Trump wants to put us into a state where we are much more weakened economically in order eventually to annex us. He said that. He's questioned our border as well. So while we've been working on the diplomatic level and working with many of his secretaries, working with him, and I've been involved in all of this, of course, with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, Dominic LeBlanc, here in Canada. It was important for Canadians and the world to know what is exactly happening. And when the U.S. decided to launch this trade war this week, well, we decided to make it public.
You know, I mean, even Prime Minister Trudeau was caught on a hot mic or whatever saying to people, this is real, this threat to annex Canada and make it a 51st state. I mean, most people thought that was just a joke. It's a negotiating ploy. It's whatever it is. It's Trump being Trump. Why do you think it's serious? Why would America want to do that? And how can you stop them?
Well, first, we can definitely stop them because Canadians are united. They're united to defend our country. They're united to defend our jobs. And as I was saying, also our way of life. We're not Americans. We're very proud of our country. And when you look back at our history, we created Canada at the time, and we were part of the British Empire because we didn't want to be the United States. And as you can hear from my accent, I'm a francophone from Canada. And there was also this grand bargain between francophones and anglophones to make sure ultimately that we could create a strong country in North America. So based on that, we want to make sure that we defend who we are as a country. And we've been shown too much disrespect by the Trump administration at this point, calling us a 51st state, calling our prime minister governor. This is not only a personal issue between Prime Minister Trudeau and President Trump. It's way more than that. It is much more than just the political rhetoric. It is a fundamental threat. So what we're doing at home is we need to make sure that there's less internal barriers between our provinces and territories, because that's an issue. We think we can offset a lot of the impacts of the tariffs coming from the United States by being much more aligned as a federation, economically speaking. We want to be closer to the UK, like we did throughout our history. We want to be closer to Europe, closer also to Japan and also South Korea, and we'll continue to work with Mexico. That's just a reality. But fundamentally, if you ask me what President Trump wants, well, that's a question to ask to him. But we know that we have everything a country would dream of to have in the world. Why? Because we have all the energy necessary. We have all the fertilizers and potash necessary. We have all the land, and also we're an agricultural superpower. We have all the uranium necessary, the hydroelectricity, the oil and gas. We have all the people, the critical minerals, the talent. I could go on and on and on. That's why we believe we're one of the best countries on earth.